Welcome back, Etsy sellers. Today we are going to be covering an enigmatic topic a lot of people don't seem to have the exact answer for. It's called Etsy SEO. Now, a lot of YouTubers and Etsy gurus on this channel will tell you there's secret hacks that you can use, there's ways to get around the algorithm, but to be completely honest, there is no roadmap to beating Etsy SEO. And since I am not a self-proclaimed guru, what I'm going to do instead is just provide exactly what Etsy tells us to do as it relates to how they categorize our listing, what we should be putting in our listing to help match with ideal buyers. This video is actually going to be split into two parts because we have a lot to cover. So we're going to go ahead and post part 1 today. But I highly recommend, if you're not already, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as hitting that bell icon so that you can be notified when part 2 goes live. You guys ready? Let's dive in. Question that we have to go over is obviously, what is SEO? It's kind of a mystery. Everyone knows that the acronym stands for search engine optimization, but what does that actually mean? So SEO basically just allows us to optimize our listings quite literally for search. So by putting certain keywords in that people are actively looking for, it helps us boost our listings in rankings on search engines like Google, Yahoo, Bing, and of course, Etsy. I highly recommend optimizing for Etsy and Google search, since Etsy is where our buyers are and Google is the #1 search engine in the world. So now that we know we want to rank on those two platforms, let's talk about exactly how Etsy SEO actually works. So there are basically two phases for how Etsy SEO works: query matching and ranking. Query matching is when a buyer enters a search term or a keyword into the Etsy search bar, and then Etsy looks at the full inventory of listings that could potentially match that search. Then Etsy uses the information about each listing and shop to then rank those listings in order, so people browsing Etsy that put that search in will see the items that they are most likely to purchase earlier in the results. Now, what we have to remember is all of this is literally happening within milliseconds. This is not something that is taking a very long time. It's not something that we have a lot of control over, but there are certain things that we can do to help rank higher by matching the query better. They also use this algorithmic technology called context-specific ranking, which allows Etsy to take the shopper's search term and provide examples of what they might like next based on their prior shopping habits. So when we talk about query matching, what exactly is Etsy looking for? Etsy's looking at titles, tags, categories, and attributes to find matching keywords to the original search term. And as it relates to ranking, this can actually be split up into two pieces as well. We have relevancy and recency. So basically how relevancy works is if your tags, listing description, categories, attributes, etc. match a shopper's search, you have the ability to then show up in that search itself. And if those are an exact match to your shopper's search, you may be ranked even higher because Etsy considers this to be more relevant to the searcher. As it relates to recency, new listings actually get a small temporary boost in the algorithm. And this is Etsy's way of testing how well that particular listing is doing once it gets put out there. Also, something to note that renewed listings also get a small boost, smaller than a new listing, but they do. So if you're considering renewing some of your listings that haven't performed well in the past, it might be time to check out the tags, titles, categories, attributes, and your listing description, as well as maybe even your listing photos, to see if they are optimized for search for the particular search terms you want to rank for. If not, go ahead and make those changes, and your renewed listing might bring in more sales than you could have ever imagined. The third thing that takes place under ranking is the customer and market experience score. So Etsy actually gives each shop a customer and market experience score on top of a listing quality score. So here's some ways that you can optimize your customer and market experience score by getting great reviews that actually have verbiage and feedback on your items instead of just stars. And if someone uses the keywords that you want to rank for in your listing, even better. Your responses to reviews is another thing that can help increase this score, and again, being able to add those keywords you want to rank for. You can also optimize your shop policies, optimize your about section, your shop announcement, etc. And I also want to highly recommend that you do not have any intellectual property infringement issues, because that is something that can tank your customer and market experience score very quickly. So now that we know that, let's talk a little bit about exactly how to optimize our individual listings. So increasing your conversion rate could help improve exactly where your listings are ranking in search. We have to remember that the Etsy search algorithm is based on actions taken by shoppers or searchers. For example, your listings are getting views, then someone clicks through to that listing, they favorite the listing, and then they purchase the listing 2 days later. Etsy's algorithm sees that as 4 individual actions taking place. But if a searcher finds your listing, clicks on it, and purchases all within the same action steps at one time, that listing could start ranking higher than all of the others, or the original search term the person typed in that presented them with your listing. I also want to make sure that you guys do not sleep on categories and attributes. Categories and attributes act as additional tags and SEO keywords for your listing. Try to add the most specific options possible to your listings and deep dive into each of the categories that you could possibly be into. Now, what I want to get into really quickly is the importance of listing photos and the importance of the first listing photo. I want you to do a little exercise for me today. We're going to get real, we're going to get raw with ourselves. I want you to type in a keyword or a long tail key phrase related to your favorite product that you sell. Just pop that into the search bar right now. Go ahead, I'll wait. Now that you've done that, I want you to do me a favor and start looking through the competition against your product. What I really want you to take notice of is the first photo of every single listing that catches your attention. What makes it so special? Why did it capture your attention? Write down a couple of those features of their first listing photos on 10 different listings competing for your space. Now, here's where we're going to get a little raw. Can you truly say with 100% certainty that you, as an unbiased searcher, would choose your listing with your first listing photo over the 10 that you looked through? If the answer is no, that's totally okay. That's the reason we're doing this exercise. Now you know what attracted you in the first place, so now you know exactly what to put in that first listing photo for your own shop. Now let's get into titles. There's been a bunch of back and forth, a bunch of different YouTube videos that have said keyword stuff, don't keyword stuff, use commas, don't use commas, and I'm confused, so I know you guys must be as well. Here's exactly what Etsy had to say. Titles should not be a keyword stuffing experience, but instead they should tell the buyer what the item is going to be about and what makes it unique, but the first few words of the title should be keyword centric. The keyword or keywords that you want to rank for should be within the first few words of your title. Use your most descriptive keyword, but use the title to talk to a shopper instead of a robot. Another way that we could potentially hack the Etsy SEO algorithm is by choosing the best price. You have to understand exactly what your individual buyer is willing to pay, and most importantly, be sure to be smart with your pricing. Sometimes less isn't more. Yes, I know there are so many cheaper options on Etsy, but as a buyer on Etsy myself, that makes me question the quality of the item. But I also don't want you to price yourself out of a sale by devaluing your product. When you are building a listing or editing a listing, maybe after you watch this video, I want you to think like a shopper or a searcher, not like a seller. All right, guys, that's all the time we have for today in part 1 of this Etsy SEO series. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and again, don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you can be notified when part 2 goes live, where we are going to dive into tags, listing descriptions, listing quality score, and how to utilize Etsy's new search analytics tool that's currently in beta right now. Until then, we'll see you in the next video.